Uno, due, tre, provando. Hey. Welcome to the last meeting of the week. This episode is sponsored by Why Not, and it's actually not, it's not a joke. It's Why Not is one of the best and most reliable, not to say the fastest, wine suppliers in Hong Kong. For the numerous viewers of this podcast, also listeners, we don't discriminate. They can go to winenot.com.hk and get a 10% discount if they use the code LASTMEET, that is LASTMEET, on checkout. I told you that I was going to do it even if Neil didn't accept it. He didn't reply to the message, so I'm going to go with the 10% discount. Today we have the great Guido Balboa, Guido Pietranera. Guido, you are a super interesting guy, but I think better than your personality is your name. So welcome to the last meeting of the week. How was the week, man? What's up with you? I'm gonna be doing mezcal shots while you reply because we are very guest friendly, and your request was to do a little bit of this. So thanks to Why Not, mezcal Montelobos Espadín. So how was the week, mate?
It was pretty good, man. I worked from home most of my week. Anika bought me a cat for my birthday. So we're chilling at home with the cat.
Do you have a picture of the cat?
Yes, I have a picture.
Can you airdrop it to the iPad?
Yes.
Because actually I know of the cat. I just haven't seen the picture yet.
Airdrop. Okay. And so yeah, because Anika is away, I was home alone, home with the cat. As usual, when she's away, I did a crazy purchase, which is I buy something without telling her.
What was this time?
Massive speakers, of course.
It's new speakers.
New speakers. Yeah.
How big are the speakers?
Quite big. Too big for my place.
How much is that?
About like 75 centimeters high and like 55 centimeters wide.
Te la envío, Yuri. And how much did you spend?
6K, which is not bad for Altex. So Altex is like really good brand that doesn't exist anymore. So it's all vintage stuff, super vintage, like 70s, mid 70s.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Are you investing so much money because you feel the fear of all of these COVID DJs that just popped up around the city and around the world?
No, it's not about that, man. This is just pleasure. Just like I like to have this shit at home and like plug it in and listen to it.
But it's true that there are many DJs. Can we see the cat? This is the real cat.
No, that's the like an internet image of a Sphinx cat. No, I sent you the picture. But yeah, it's like this cat but
you didn't
different.
see the picture? Wait. So guys, this is the first time we do this shit, eh? Hold on a second. I can actually do like this. I don't know why I said we can connect the iPad. We can actually do the computer, which is actually much easier. Hello. Okay. Yes. So.
I have to say your producer is not that good.
No. This is the first time. Okay. We can. If you wanna cut to. Hey, there we go. We have it. This is your cat. What's the name of the cat? This is fantastic. I love it.
It's Mew, like the Pokemon. You know Mew?
Yes. No, it's beautiful. So it has this black nose.
Yeah, black nose. There's like great spot on her face.
How did you call it, or him, or her? What's the gender?
It's a hare. It's a she hare.
Only?
I think so. And so the name, because it looks exactly like the Pokemon. You know, the Mew is like a pink.
Yes.
Kind of like cat-like Pokemon.
Okay. So well, let's do one mezcal shot for Mew. Guido, yes. Filippo, which is the master behind the scenes, behind the curtain.
Can I jump in?
Yes.
How's the audio if I jump in?
Low,
lower,
yes.
So I need to speak louder.
Right.
Okay. Hi everyone.
Come here. You can
I can hear you a little bit.
sit
Just
on my lap
checking.
if you want. You
Yeah,
can sit on my lap.
That's a little bit patronizing. No.
Come patronizing. I meant it to be sexual, not patronizing.
Ah, sorry. Yeah, same. Okay, I'll go back to do my wonderful
Chin
job
chin.
at editing.
Oh, one.
Oh, I had.
You had.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We already cheers.
Mm. Now I am certain that this podcast is gonna be a great success. I never had a boring conversation after a shot of mezcal, especially on an empty stomach. Pandemic DJs, man.
Yeah. Well,
Eh,
I'm a pandemic DJ too, because I started just before.
You started only before the pandemic.
Yeah. So that was, I mean, actually, it was great for me because in Hong Kong there were no international coming in.
Okay.
I had the chance to just try it out, and it went pretty well for the most of it. Yeah.
But you got quite good quite fast, and this is why I never thought that you were a pandemic DJ. Did you know this?
No, I thought actually that Guido started when he was a kid. In fact,
No,
one
no.
of the question: what is your most treasured memory of being a DJ?
What is the inspiration behind it? No, this is
Yeah.
This is fantastic. So, do you now you are quite well established, and then
In Hong Kong, yeah.
in Hong Kong, yeah. But let's say your name is starting to get out there. Every party that you play in is an amazing vibe. Do you feel like this is the same for everyone else? Like, how many people like you came up and remained from the pandemic?
In Hong Kong, I don't know, man. I think there are some other guys who are doing a good job that started during the. I mean, maybe they were DJ before, but they came out more here during the pandemic, like the Chaotic Pavilion guys, for example, like this. I think what really helped me, it's because I focused on Italo disco, because the problem is nowadays you have so many DJs and everybody wants to play, I guess, mostly house and techno. And I think when you have a niche like Italo disco for me, then it's a bit less obvious. That would really help me. So people really recognize it.
Yeah, but did you do it on purpose, or was it like a? Or let's say, okay, you said, okay, I want to be different. I want to make it, so I choose something different.
No,
Or
because
do you listen to Italo disco all the time?
I mean, not all the time, but I listen to it a lot. But the thing is,
Can you put a little bit closer
Yeah.
to you? You need to almost about to be. You need to be about to make up with
Okay.
the microphone.
so when I was in Italy, I was working in parties.
Mhm.
I was mostly also taking care of guest DJ that were coming, but I never played. And then when I moved here, I don't know. I just wanted to start playing because I thought I was a bit less afraid of it. I feel less judged.
Here than in
Yeah.
Italy.
Yeah, because you know everyone, right?
Yes.
In your hometown, it's a small hometown. And here nobody knows you, so it's different. And I was I mean, there's some really good DJs around already in Hong Kong, so let's try to focus on something that's from my country. And yeah, that's the paradox, because when you're at home, you always look at the stuff abroad.
Yes.
And then when you leave, you start looking back at your roots, at what comes from your home country, right? And I realized that I really liked it.
Mhm.
And there was so much stuff that I didn't know of, so much, from especially 70s, 80s, 90s, a lot of stuff that was so fucking good. And I think that's a bit of a problem for Italian DJs too. Most of the really good Italian DJs, they live abroad, they don't live in Italy, and especially the one who plays Italo disco, they mostly play in other countries in Europe. They don't do really Italo disco parties in Italy anymore.
But are there really big names, or who would be, let's say, because I'm very ignorant until you came, so I knew of the songs Italo disco, but I couldn't pinpoint, let's say, a name.
Because the artists thought that genre was from the 80s.
Yes.
So it's all all the people who were like producing and like making those songs, they're not like DJs. They were artists. They were performers. They were bands.
Okay.
And now they're all like old. They're like 60, 70 years old. A lot of them died. A lot of them stopped doing music because maybe they did like a one hit in the 80s, and then after
And they say about
Yeah.
they spend the money.
yeah, and so, and what's really different about the rest of the Italian music, why Italo disco became like such a specific thing, is that, well, first it was when synthesizers started to really become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like this really recognizable like synths and drum machine sounds, and was also they were singing in English.
Yes.
Like 99% of it is singing in English because they, like funk, soul, and disco were so big in the US that these guys from Italy, they wanted to be like recognized all over the world. So
Right.
that's why
Makes sense. So how did the music scene in Hong Kong like how many people knew about Italo disco because before you started playing?
I think a lot of people, well, some people knew and some people didn't, and some people still don't really understand it. Like when one of the last time that we did the Italo disco party at Maine, there's this Italian guy who came back to me, and I was like on the DJ booth and said like, what are you playing? This is not Italo disco, because I think he thought that like I was playing like these Italian tracks with Italian lyrics.
Yes.
And then he couldn't know any of this.
So they were expecting probably, I don't know, Gigi D'Agostino and
No, but even like, I don't know, like Celentano, like
okay.
like stuff like that. That it's still like fun in a party. You can dance to it, but that's more like on the 70s side, and it's less. I don't know. For me, it's like less clubby. I
Okay.
would say. But it's So these guys, and I think a lot of people think the same thing, that like you're gonna play like these old tracks or like from the late 70s, 80s that have Italian lyrics, but actually no, it's something different because it's not popular in Italy as well. Like Italo disco in Italy, like I don't know. Me growing up, I didn't really know what it was.
All right.
And when did you learn about Italo disco?
Well, I learned a bit before leaving Italy because Boiler Room did a documentary about it, like a short documentary on YouTube. So I saw that there was this scene, but I didn't realize how big it was, actually. I thought there was like these few artists who did like some nice tracks in the 80s. And then when I started to dig into it, when I was already here, I was like, wow, actually it's huge. There's so many artists, so much stuff. And there's a lot of that stuff, like the smaller artists, it's never been digitalized. So there's a lot of stuff that you can only buy on vinyl.
Okay.
And that's the only way to have it. Maybe these tracks you can listen to it on YouTube, but you can't play it because the YouTube quality, of course, is not that good.
Yes.
And so to get it, the only way it's like to buy the vinyl.
So you buy the vinyl, and then how do you digitalize to the quality that you need for a
Well,
set?
first you need to get a vinyl that's in good quality, right? That doesn't have
Yes.
scratch. And then usually you go to professional, you send it to these people. I think there's like a couple in Hong Kong also.
Uh-huh.
It's not cheap because you need to buy the records. If it's a rare records, you pay a lot of money. And then I think it's like $150 or $100 per track
Yes.
to digitalize it.
How much? 50 to 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
For one track to make it like a good quality digital that you can, because it's about they use like really good needles for the turntables that are very expensive to record it, and then I don't know, they use like good sound cards, and then the program is what it is, whatever.
No, that's. I mean, it's on one side it feels like a lot of work, but on the other side, I think it gets more meaning because it's hard. Now every nowadays is within the reach of a button.
Yeah.
And what you're telling me is almost like taking photos with a 100-year-old camera. You need to like put some work into it. So that's cool. How many records do you play? Do you have at your disposal now if you go back home?
Like in my house, probably have like around 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many do you have digitalized? All of them?
Oh, I mean, no. Actually, no. No, I haven't signed any of those. I mean, a lot of them you can find the digital of
Okay.
course, already. Like you buy from, like I don't know, like new stuff I buy from Bandcamp. All old stuff I buy from iTunes because they have
I
a
see.
huge library.
And they have.
Yeah. And then, actually, no, the rare ones I haven't sent them to digitalize. I should do it. But I think it's also like special the fact that you can't just go in a club and play this song from a USB,
Yes.
but you only have it at home and like you can only listen to it like once in a while. I think it makes it even more special. And if you really want to play it, you have to bring the record with you and play it.
Yes. No. I love it. I like it.
So yeah, I wasn't really interested in like getting this thing
It-
digitalized. Yeah.
No. It's super cool. If let's say you have a set tomorrow, or tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Do you normally like map out the set that you're gonna play, or you just kind of like bring in a bunch of records and improvise? If you
Well, it depends. So if I'm doing back to back with another person,
yes,
that's really unpredictable what other people are going to play, right?
yes,
So yeah, I just go through my stuff and but yeah, that's more improvised.
But you must coordinate with the other person a little bit, I imagine. Also because your style is so niche.
No, not really, because I don't only like now nowadays I try to differentiate, and I have. So for example, I just posted on Instagram we're gonna have the Italo Disco party on the 1st of October, and that's gonna be like Italo Disco only. But now when I play at other parties, I play other kind of music too, because otherwise it's so narrowed and it doesn't like. I love Italo Disco, but there's not just that. There's so much more, and it doesn't always work for that vibe, right? Like you
Yes.
have so many other different vibes, and there's also some other Italian stuff that I really like that it doesn't fall under the Italo Disco category, like earlier stuff from the 70s, or like there's all the Italo Dream House that came out in the 90s. That it's like. And also like the early Italian techno from the 90s, that it's really good. So for example, like, okay, my next big night is going to be like the 1st of October at Main. That's going to be like big, just Italo Disco party. And then there's going to be like Shifumi's end of October, where I'm going to play the 5 hours silent disco with Yadin.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is like, I'm playing with Yadin, so he doesn't play Italo Disco, of course, so so that's going to be different. Now I'm going to play like other stuff.
No, in fact, I have to say when you are my favorite, let's say the moments in which I like you the most as a DJ is when you go like bass heavy, like super violent, and you can do that. So let's say no, it's nice. It's nice that you wing it. And I have to say, I don't know if you do it on purpose. I don't know if you're lucky, but I have the feeling when you're playing that you actually either you are a trendsetter, like the crowd follows him, or you read the crowd very much. Which one do you think it is? Is it you dictating,
really depends,
or is
really
the
depends
crowd?
where you're playing, right? Because like sometimes in Hong Kong you're playing in some bars and like people, it's maybe it's not like the usual club crowd that you would get.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be, you have to try to please her a bit more and try to like entertain them. And then when you're playing in a club like Main, I think you have more freedom to experiment and play some more like heavy stuff, and people is there to dance and have fun.
Yes.
And they like clubbing, and so they understand it and they enjoy it. But one really fun night I played was the Host, the gay party that they have there, and that's completely different because like normally when you play in a club, like people is facing you and they're like, if they're really into it, like they're looking at you, and in there they still like dancing a lot and having a lot of fun, but they're not facing you, they're facing each other. They're like all dancing within each other. Nobody is like turning towards you and like put their hands up and stuff like that. And I like it actually.
Host is have you been to Host?
No, I haven't.
There was, I don't know who was playing. I went one time by myself. It was like one of those nights, like, you know, I wanted to go out. People like didn't. It was like typical dinner that people were lazy, and I'm like, no, I really want to go to Min to go to listen to this DJ, but it was Host.
It's the one in California Tower.
No,
No,
Host
it's
is
at Min.
is the gay party of Min, of Min
Oh,
Club. Yeah,
okay.
and I have to say, it's funky. It's funky. I mean, the vibe is if you are a party lover, like for the vibe, I think is one of the best.
Yeah.
100%. Then of course you need to get used to certain different codes, but
Yeah.
but it's one of the best.
Yeah.
I don't think this, for example, of course, we live in a world of tolerance in which, let's say, parties like Host are not only not pursued but also enjoyed. But you had a little controversy I really wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to ask you the whole story if you can, because one of the you are a very quiet guy,
Yeah.
but you have a very nice sense of humor.
Yeah.
And you express your sense of humor through, in some cases, through the science. And when you did the shirt, "Make Italo Disco Great Again," which
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't buy it, because probably I'm stupid or I forgot. You told me that someone said something about it. Someone didn't get the joke, pretty much.
Yes.
What happened with that?
Well, there was two things that happened. So the first one was that some people actually in Europe got mad about it.
In Europe?
Yes, not really in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, nobody gives a shit about this kind of stuff. I think it's like, I like this about Hong Kong. Everything is like less. Everything is about money. It's not about politics. And so, of course, here nobody gives a shit about it. But in Europe, some people got mad, and so the main guy suggested that like we change the name just to Italo Disco, just because they didn't want to like get some bad press or stuff like that, which I totally understand. And I just like some people, you know, like nowadays they feel very offended by everything, and of course, and so they like privately someone calling me out to be like a Trump supporter and a white male fascist and stuff like that.
Which platforms did they call you out?
No, privately to them, to the main guys, not. It wasn't
And
public.
how did they got to know about it in Europe?
Because I mean through social media, because they were posting. It was the name of the party in the beginning.
Okay,
The first time we did the Italo Disco party there. Now it's just Italo Disco, but in the beginning was Make Italo Disco Great Again. And some people texted them directly and said like these kind of things. And at the same time, Roman, who released the song Make Italo Disco Great Again,
Yes.
and also the album.
Yes.
He released already 3 albums with this name. The label that was gonna release it in Australia,
Yes.
they said no, like what the fuck is this? They thought the same thing, right? But
Yeah.
you know, he really believed in it and he really liked it, and so he explained it to them, like, you know, like of course we. Of course, it's just a fucking joke, you know. Like
It
making
is a
fun of it.
joke.
Yeah,
It is
and
a-
also I want to say this: like, I'm not a Trump supporter, but like, you know, he's been elected in democracy, and so I don't think you should be like shamed or like silenced because you support him, because I believe in freedom of speech, and so. Even if I don't agree with what he says and what he believes in, I probably wouldn't vote for him. Like, I think still is like bullshit, like silence everything that is around him, and this was like clearly a joke.
First of all, I think there is a convergence of two phenomena. Number one, the fact that people are stupid, because if you cannot understand that is a joke, like the lack of irony, in my opinion, is a symptom of stupidity, like
Yeah.
plain and simple. And then I don't want to be like the old guy or the older guy that shits on the young generation, but there is a bunch of people who think they're smarter than they are, and that have never faced frustration, which is a part of life. And sometimes the party that you vote for doesn't win, and you just need to shut up and get on with it. I don't agree with Trump, even though I have to recognize he's one of those characters that when I see him on YouTube,
It's very
he
funny.
makes me laugh.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he
man,
makes
it's
me
funny
laugh.
as fuck.
It's-
For sure, for sure.
It's just so good. Like the
It's
other,
very entertaining.
yeah. Like the other day, I was watching this rally where he said, "I'm gonna go off script now," and he looked at his hair at the TV screen, and he looked at his hair, and he said, "I thought it was gonna be worse." The guy's and he's. I don't know the spontaneity of the guy. I understand why people vote him. Like I wouldn't vote him because then you need to go 2-3 levels deeper in what he really means. And he's actually a smart guy calling people stupid, but he's very funny. So that's that. And then people need to like learn to live with frustration,
Yes.
and that's it. And I don't know. I really hope that there is this theory of Quentin Tarantino that says that there is like an alternance between conservative, Puritanism, and the opposite.
Yes.
He said that in the 60s, 70s, there was libertarianism. Then the 80s were, kind of lame. And then the 90s came back with, Pulp Fiction, Heat, a lot of great movies, violence, very visual. Now we are back into an era of
I remember
graphic.
this. Yeah, he said it's
You-
even
you-
worse than the 80s now, actually.
It's worse than the 80s. So
Yeah.
I hope that the counter response is going to be like people saying crazy shit all the time. And it's funny. Luckily, I have discovered a few months ago that humor still lives. Because
Absolutely.
because one of the funniest things that you can do is go on Instagram Reels. Maybe it's the algorithm that knows me, but they really make the craziest jokes that when you hear something that makes you feel a little bit bad about yourself just by hearing it. Instagram is full of that shit.
Yeah, of course.
And that's, I think, Instagram, as much as I have said bad things about it, is gonna revive dark humor. I don't know.
That is interesting. I think like you are trying to revitalize music from the 80s.
Yes.
And then the perception is that 80s music, the 80s was a lost decade.
No, but it's true. Actually, I also wanted to go there because what's mainstream about it, it's quite terrible. Like, that's also the thing with Italo Disco. Like, the most famous artists that came out of that era and the most famous track and music, I don't like them so much. It's not because it's too cheesy.
But it's good sound.
Yeah, no, but then
Like technically,
The
from
thing
a
is, like,
pop
you need
point
to-
of view, the pop from
Vieni
the
vicino, vieni vicino.
pop from the 80s is actually good sound.
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, what came out also of other countries, yeah. But it's more the stuff that was like hidden behind it that it's really good. Like, there was the EBM from Germany and like all the synth pop and post punk, dark wave. But it's always, I mean, of course, there was some part that was mainstream that was really good, but specifically about the Italian sound, like the artists that they made more money out of it and got the biggest are the one that I like less. It's actually, there was a lot of stuff that, because of course, like now DJing, it's about digging. It's about like going and finding all this shit that maybe like, it was like an artist made one track and then and then fucked off, and it's all stuff that maybe it wasn't popular back then, and it's been like refound like now, and it's that's the best part, I think.
Last questions, and then I'll
Come.
let you speak.
No, that I'm very happy about this. There's gonna be a 2.0 because this is good. This is good. This is. I'm finding out one thing.
I'll try to speak from here. Maybe you can hear me, so I don't get into a camera.
We have a guy. We have a very shy guy that is actually not shy. Come to the camera.
But when you hear back to 90s music,
Yeah.
don't you think that it's also like very cheesy? And
It's the same, yeah.
And when you go back to early 2000 music, like it's always the same feeling. Oh man, that was like a little bit of like was very cheesy. Maybe I think the only few decades that have lasted in terms of everlasting sound were the 60s.
But no, but I know what you mean, because the problem is that like when when we were like 18 or 20 years ago, I think you can relate a lot to this. We used to go maybe like in Italy to like 90s revival parties or like 80s revival party, and what was played there, it was always like the shittiest, cheesiest club music that came out of the 80s and of the 90s. And that's why I think you feel that way, because that's what was the mainstream of that era. But the underground side of it, which in the 90s became really way more underground, because when house music and techno music really developed, it's fucking amazing. Like now on Bandcamp, I found these guys who released this early 90s techno from Florence, and they all re-released it in recent years, and man, it's so fucking good. It's really good, but it's all stuff that you will never hear about unless there's someone who brings it back and puts it there in digital, and everybody can listen to it and download it and play it.
Is there money to be made by just digging and finding stuff, or it's just
not so much? I think all these people that works in the music industry, especially in the underground music industry, all over the world, don't make so much money. It's mostly for the love of it.
Unless it's
vicino, perché altrimenti
unless it's New Guinea, I imagine, because New Guinea they managed to make money from old music.
Yeah, okay,
basically.
yeah, it's different. I mean, they have a band, they tour a lot. Like they've been, I think, fairly really recognized for what they do, and but there's so much other people that we don't hear about that does also kind of the same things, because on Bandcamp there's so much music from Naples, old music old music has been re-released, same as New Guinea did, that are not as big, but still very good. But I think it's because they did very well with their own stuff, and the band thing, but it's also very different. But I mean, they've been around for a long time, and before that, actually, one of them was like a techno DJ. So it took them a long time to get there. Like, they had separate careers, I think, in the beginning. So the main two guys, and they were not that famous, and they managed to put something together that really worked.
Going back to the present time for just a second, I have been out of the party scene for a very long time, and we need to solve this, by the way. But apart from my personal life that no one cares about, I noticed up until 2022 in the last times that there was a trend, at least in underground music, or quote unquote, that things were getting darker and the BPMs were getting higher.
Yes.
Is this something that is continuing, or let me reframe it in a more generic way? How is the sound now of the new underground electronic music? And yeah.
It's very hard to say, because I saw a trend like you did, but they're very short trends. And the thing is, I think it's really difficult nowadays to really define trend in underground music, because there's so many artists that everything is so different, and it really depends about what you like and what you want to hear, because nowadays there's everything, whatever you're into is there.
Yes.
And so I think what you said is true. I remember online, especially during COVID, you would see a lot of live streams, boiler room, stuff like that. They were about very hardcore stuff. But I think it's also because the other underground genres has been explored so much.
Yes.
By boiler room, these channels, that they also wanted to discover something different. Because even here, we hang out we go mostly to parties where there's a lot of expats and stuff like that. But when you go to there's so many parties that we don't go to that are very local.
Yes.
Underground parties in industrial buildings and stuff like that, which are very hardcore. That like this really like hardcore music, high BPM, very dark, and there's a lot of them. Like local people, it's really into that.
And you think it's just a matter of a niche that wasn't covered,
Mm.
or a psychological zeitgeist of the COVID
I think
era?
it's a matter of culture, you know. Like we grew up in a culture where like disco music was very big, and the Balearic sound, like I mean, you're from Spain, Ibiza
Yes.
was that has pushed. I mean, the club scene in Europe it's very different, and I think what's have been pushed a lot. It's more like the disco, the house, the techno scene, in the UK, like drum and bass, dubstep, breakbeat, all this kind of stuff. And so we see more of that in
Mhm.
Europe, but I think in Hong Kong it's a bit different because the crowd is way younger who got into electronic music,
Yes.
and I don't know, they like this hardcore stuff. So that's what has developed here more,
I see. I see. I see.
and we don't really see it much because we don't go to these kind of parties, but they're actually out there.
Maybe we need to go and find them just for a little bit, maybe for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I live in big regret in the past few days since actually I hope it's actually a true gossip. Someone told me that you're gonna be playing in Wonderfruit. Is that something
Yes.
confirmed?
Yes.
Forbidden Fruit,
Yes.
which is my favorite stage, hands down, because it's La Mami's stage.
Yes.
Normally they play there.
I don't think they're gonna be there this year though,
See, but still, let's say.
because they're coming for Shifumes, which is a month
Ah,
before.
okay.
They're doing a tour, and I think they have to go back to Europe.
It's okay, you'll be there.
Yeah, but it's true. The same. It's. I mean, they used to go with Flo, so this time he's bringing me there, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Are you
excited.
experiencing anticipation or still not? Or you see it far away?
It's not that far, but yeah, yeah. No, I haven't really think about it much. But no, it's. Actually, yeah. So this year is my first year doing festivals. So there's gonna be Shifumes, and there's gonna be Wonderfruit. Yeah, but also it's really cool because there are some DJs I really like that are gonna be playing at Forbidden Fruit.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm gonna be there also enjoying it.
You know, I feel very stupid because this is gonna be my first Wonderfruit not attending.
Why not?
Vabbè, long story, family duties. I want to go back to Spain. I work for a company from Venice, so I want
So
to
you're
go.
gonna be in Europe in that.
I'm gonna
period.
fly to Europe on the 12th, and I bought the flight tickets already. So yeah, that's and then I'm coming back on the 28th. So yeah, that's gonna be a little bit tight, but I'm gonna go to Shifumitsu at least one night, because at least if you don't do one, you do the other.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I understand that you don't think about it too much because you have a lot of things going on in the meantime, and not only music-wise.
Yeah.
Or music-wise in a sense, but also design-wise, because music room is coming back.
Yes.
So Potato Head closed down.
Yes.
Are they keeping the same name or they changed the name?
No, because it's not Potato Head anymore.
It's not
Because,
Potato Head.
Because this decision to close was from Bali to close Potato Head, so someone else took over the space because the landlord leased out the space. But luckily, Johnny Hiller, who runs the music room,
Mm-hmm.
he has been offered to take over the space again. So yeah, we're really excited that it's coming back.
And you are designing it, or do you
Yes.
design part of it?
Yes. So I didn't work on the design of the restaurant, the front part. But,
Mhm.
yeah, I designed all the furniture. Well, I mean, the music room hasn't been. Luckily, they didn't took it down. So it was still there when we got back there. Everything was still there, like the lights, the walls, and everything. So we decided just to do some works to improve it, make it 2.0. So yeah, with Johnny, we designed like new furniture that's coming in today.
Do you want me to show the pictures?
Yeah.
All right. So here we have.
So
This is super nice.
This is one of the
Very
lounge
sexy.
chairs. Thank you. Yes.
It looks like a conceptual lip, like a thick lip.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, already like the music room had like this like disco 70s, 80s vibe,
Yeah.
and of course we wanted to go back to that even more, like that space age, like cosmic um, look.
What's gonna be the color on the wall?
Oh no, so the walls are the same.
The walls are the same.
Because the thing is, like, they did such a good job back in the days when they soundproof it.
Okay.
So there's like half a meter of soundproof.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Half a meter.
Yeah, half a meter.
Porca.
So they didn't touch that because luckily it was still there when
Okay.
they got these new people who got over the space. It was still there, the room. They didn't took it down, so they kept like the ceiling and the walls are the same.
Uh-huh.
What we changed is that there is the furniture, the
Mhm.
new furniture, and at the back, we had to redesign the wall with all the records because the speakers that are going in are actually bigger than the one that were there before. And so there's a new wall with new lights, so it's gonna be cool.
No, fantastic. It's one of my favorite places. The only problem, or maybe the virtue of the place, at the same time, is that it can only host so many people.
Yeah, like 50 people.
Like
yeah.
50 people you are like
Yeah.
you know, like in DC-10 in Ibiza.
No, I think when we did I think you were not here when we did my wedding. We were 50 people inside, around 50. It
Really?
was-
So
yeah,
many?
it's okay, yeah.
All right. We have some more furniture that you designed. This is another one.
Yeah, so this is another lounge chair. Again, yeah, the inspiration from this was like this old sofa from Tobias Carpa. That it's from the not sure if
Very
it's
nice,
late
no.
60s or early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. This.
Yes,
Woo.
this was not finished. They're gonna add stainless steel skirting to the sofa.
Is this going to be available for sale? Because
So that's the thing. We purchased some extra stuff, me and Johnny's, to take for our place.
Yes.
This furniture, and then the idea is we would like to commercialize it and have it on sale.
because I love the leather sofa. If we can, yes, this is fantastic. It feels like a 70s cinema, something like that.
Yeah, I think the guy the manufacturer did a good job on it.
Obviously, I mean, from I perceive, I get the vibes from you that you have a good relationship with Johnny,
Yeah,
and that you are very proud of what you did in this project.
yeah. But there was a lot of like also his direction in it. Like I think we are a good team, and we see things the same way.
Okay.
And so the same way as is with my job at Sean Dix. So one thing we do at Sean Dix, we try to not look at Pinterest, but Sean has a massive book collection, so we try to look like all projects and books, and it's all stuff that you can't find online. All the images that are in those books.
Okay.
And I like that Johnny does the same thing. So when we were meeting in his flat, like trying to think what to do with the music room, the same, he came out with like a stack of like all the design magazines that he collected from when he used to live in the UK, and we were looking at that to get inspiration for this.
No, this is fantastic. In fact, I was going to ask you something along those lines. From what you're saying, normally I understand that you have a lot of freedom in designing whatever you want when you get, a job, or on the contrary, normally the briefing is very detailed and they say, okay, you need to do this, do that. Or how is the process of, you getting a new job and coming up with a concept?
Yes. So normally,
by the way, because I think I need to specify, I jumped one little explanation for people that don't know Guido, is that Guido's day job is actually a product designer, interior designer, specialized in F&B, working for one of the most important design studios in F&B in Hong Kong.
yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And so along these lines, coming back, what is the process of creating these concepts? Like, how does it happen?
So normally when we get a client, of course, first we want to know it depends what they want to do, right? Because I mean, in Hong Kong you get such a variety of like cuisine. So sometimes it could be an Italian place, sometimes it could be a Japanese place, sometimes it's a Chinese place or a Thai place. So that has a big impact also on the concept. And then of course there's the space, like where is it going to be? Because there's a big space, there's a small space, is the natural light, is not natural light, is it like high ceiling, low ceiling, like that has an impact also, like what you can do. And also depends from the client, because there's some clients that really have like a vision of what they want, and there's some clients who are completely clueless on what they're doing.
And yeah,
and there's some clients that just let you do whatever you want, and there's some clients that are like they're checking everything, and they're really like an example is like Matt from Yardbird. I wasn't in the company when they designed Yardbird yet, but I worked with him on other projects, and he knows exactly what he wants.
yes,
And he really thinks about it. And so it's really helpful because he can really gives you a direction. I mean, I'm not really talking always about the design, but about like the function, how the space has to flow, and like stuff like that.
so you prefer someone that let's say guides
I mean,
you, or someone
it
that
depends. If someone who makes sense, yeah. Yeah, and then like of course you get some clients who are just like dickheads, and they're very arrogant, but they don't really understand what they're doing.
I see.
Um,
The Hong Kong is a place in, let's say, in which every market is very mature,
yes.
and there has been a process of aggregation of restaurants,
Yeah.
let's F&B outlets into big groups.
Yes.
That every year they have a pipeline of restaurants that they need
Yes.
to present to the public, and they cover a huge variety
Yeah.
of inspirations, of concepts. I was always curious on how they choose those concepts. Like, do they there is this guy with an inspiration saying, I want to do a Mexican place.
I don't know, because they really works with chef also, like these big groups, the one that are very, very structured. Like when you go there, they really know what they're doing, and when they open a place, they do massive training on staff, and you can really see it when you go there. But also they like to get the food right, so they work with chefs who are maybe already well known, or that they know that are very capable. And I think the design comes after. Like first they really decide what they want to do in terms of like food and the vibe that they want to bring and the price point,
Yes.
and then they brief the designer to
But-
work on that.
But on the first step, like, for example, do you think it happens more often that they have a concept in mind and they find the chef for it, or they really want to work with a person? Imagine
I think
Antimo
it's a
from
bit of
Estro.
both. I think it's a bit of both. Like sometimes there's some, like, because they go around a lot, they eat in other restaurants, and maybe they're like all over the world. So maybe sometimes they meet people that they really want to work with, and they try to build something around it. But also sometimes they just like, oh, this is missing, and we want to do this. I think it's a bit of both.
I see.
Yeah.
What's the pressure like for the chef and for the designer like you to create a place that is Instagrammable nowadays? Like, because
Yeah.
what's the trend? I mean, you told me that, Sean, and yourself, you don't look at the trends, but
No, it's not that we don't look at trends. Yeah, we try to like, don't look at stuff that it's like too easy recognizable or too easy like trendy. But first because we don't like it, and second because it's always stuff that doesn't age well. It's always stuff that like. Like
fashionable for the sake of
we
it.
want to
doesn't
build
work.
restaurants. We just like redid a couple of restaurants that were luckily very successful. They've been open for more than 10 years, and we had to redo them because they've been like destroyed by by 10 years of working. And so of course we would like our project to be like that. So that's how we think about the project. So we don't want something that it's like trendy on the moment that we don't really believe in, and then after like 5 years it sucks.
I see. No, I completely agree. But I think that principle is the same for pretty much everything. If you do something new,
I'm sure the
yeah.
company you work for, they think about lamps the same way. Like they want to
Yes.
sell you a lamp that you can still have after 30 years, after 40 years.
I mean, that's a key thing.
Keep your mic a little bit lower.
Okay.
So we can see you in the face. Otherwise.
Okay.
And closer. I don't want to break your balls. Closer. Like really, you need to. If you do like this,
Okay.
you need to touch
Okay.
almost.
Okay.
Yeah, because I see here the levels. It's okay. I lost the train of thought for a second. Yes, no, the lighting that we do, the designs that we do, if you pay attention to the great designs, most of them either they are very minimal and their virtue resides in the detail, which means that they will blend with any kind of design and people will not get tired of it. Or there's atemporal designs, like like the Castiglione. If you think about the best designs that companies like B&B Italia are pumping out right now, or Floss, Mario Bellini designed the Bambole in the 70s.
Yeah, it's all old.
It's
the
all
old stuff.
70s.
Yeah.
So and now whenever someone tries to do something new for the sake of it, it just doesn't work, and it ages very fast and faster.
But
now.
that's actually the same thing in fashion. Is the same thing in music, and I think the problem is that since the 60s, the 70s, what happens in most creative fields is that there hasn't been really new technology coming in, which means that like people who build lamps, they use the same material they used to use like 50, 60 years ago. And people who does fashion, they kind of use, sometimes there's some new material, but mostly what people is wearing is fucking cotton. It's the same shit that used to be there all along. And in music is the same, like synthesizers came, and after that, okay, transforming digitally, you make the same sound digitally,
Yes.
but there's not a new sound coming. There's no new materials coming. Yes, sometimes there is something, but it's not something that's really hitting the market strongly. And I think that's part of the problem also.
With the added problematic of greater exposure nowadays, because before the amount of information that you received about something was, I don't know, maybe 2% of what we get right now.
Yeah.
Like if you think about how companies need to communicate, it's not about doing one editorial per week or one editorial per month. They need to post several times a day.
Yes.
A day. And repropose the same stuff.
Yeah.
So that means that you get tired of things much
Yeah,
sooner.
Absolutely.
And this obsession for the short term, at the end of the day, it's something that is very paradoxical, and we have here next to me a sustainability expert, but this goes against sustainability in the core. This impossibility of buying something and hanging onto it for a very long time because you get tired. This fast fashion, this fast design. Let's say I believe, yes. Please, by reference.
I'll need to get close to this one, because I noticed in whatever you said, Guido, in most of what you said, is that a lot of the time whatever you have been doing, it's really goes a little bit against the mainstream. So no Instagram when you try to design, Italo Disco, which is not something that is necessarily mainstream, and it's interesting how you have basically bracketed in the idea of you if you want to have something that works for a long time, it can be ephemeris. It can be just the thing of the moment. And I think that's quite an interesting parallel between the design and the music. Really try to be original, try to rediscover things. You can't really produce and create necessarily something new because the instruments are those, but you can be original and that last, which I think it's a positive note, definitely.
Yeah.
On that note, so if you just to do something practical here,
Yeah.
if you had to do now a restaurant that you love,
Mm-hmm.
what do we do? And we can go even from food to design to, let's say, let's try to build a restaurant. Let's decide it right now.
Yeah.
Let's do something. Let's do another mezcal shot so we feel inspired, because this is the creativity moment. And later I have a proposal for a game for all of us.
Who's this mezcal by again?
This mezcal is Montelobos Espadín Joven from Oaxaca, sponsored by Why Not, which is the company from my friend Neil Johnson, that will give a 10% discount to every single one of you that buys and checks out with the code LASTMEET. That's LASTMEET. Let's do this. So what restaurant do we do? Let's start, because here I have to say, we never spoke about the origins of ourselves, guys. But we have one Napolitan, one Emilian. I don't know if that's a word in English.
Yeah.
From Reggio Emilia, and I'm from Spain, but I enjoy both of your places.
Yeah.
I think we can pull something. We can pull out something quite nice. So. Who sets the menu?
Okay, I have to say this. I think even though there's no restaurant in Hong Kong from like with the food from my hometown, I would say that like a good choice of Italian restaurants. So I would vote for a good kebab that was really missing in Hong Kong.
Okay, but man, kebab is nice. I don't, can we put Turkish pizza?
Yeah,
the
Turkish pizza.
Turkish pizza is like a sort of bread that they put this daka, which is this spice that is like black powder sort of herb. Zatar, che daka, zatar. It's Friday. It's Friday.
I was
evening,
thinking about
guys.
zatar, but I was like
Zatar. Okay, thank you very much. We have to beep that thing that I said before. So we do a kebab place, and let's say.
I don't know. You guys agree or?
100%. I follow you. No.
Where do
All
you
right.
get good kebab?
Let's drink to the kebab. Oi.
Cheers, guys.
Camera guy.
Cheers, guys.
Guys, super pleasure. I love mezcal. So we do a kebab, and what is the interior? How does the interior look like for you?
Kebab. I don't know. Like usually the research would go, I guess, through. Well, first you go like on all the like traditional stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go look at whatever is traditional, like in Turkey and Middle East.
So we fly to Istanbul.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Yeah, that would be a great idea, because I think what's very interesting. I mean, not looking at only at the very traditional stuff, but then there you can get a look. Again, going back to like the 70s, 80s, all that architecture that was done there.
Mm-hmm.
And studying like because like we know a lot about like the European, like German, Italian, English architects, but I'm sure there like were some really fucking good like Turkish or Middle Eastern architects also back in those days in those countries.
No, I love Turkey. Like, I think Turkey is a great idea. Turkey is a super rich country in terms of culture. Now, currency is going to shit, but in terms of culture, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And they were extremely liberal since the early 20th century. Like on 1926, women could be chosen for a representative of parliament in Turkey, which is when I learned about this, I thought it had to be a mistake. And along those lines, when you have such an open society that now unfortunately is going the opposite, but you know the base is there still. The richness, the variety from one region to the other, from Izmir to Ankara to Bodrum to Istanbul itself is fantastic. I like it. Okay, so we go there and we decide. Do we put a DJ in the restaurant or we keep it quiet?
Well, that depends on the menu. 100%. Well, like I think I don't like actually that in Hong Kong some place wants to do it's like sometimes they wanted to book us like me or other DJs to play a restaurant, and I found it completely useless. Because nobody gives a fucking shit to hear about DJ set when they're eating. And if it's a place that can go after dinner time, I can have some music. Why not? But there needs to be a place that allows for that.
How do you feel when you play? I mean, have you ever enjoyed a set when you're in a restaurant, or it's always the same shit?
No.
It's
Unless it's like New Year's or something like.
I see.
The people is like how to have like real fun. In other side things, no. I try to play. Yeah. The last time was, I was playing in like, I'm not gonna say the name of the place, but it's quite a fancy place.
Yes.
And they put me inside, and in front of me, like when I'm playing, there's people eating. But then outside they have like this terrace with this like people drinking and having fun. And so like they keep coming to me and say, oh, like you need to play harder. But like the people having fun of me, it's like it's having dinner.
Yeah.
So
I think the experience with places in Hong Kong, and I have the only place in which maybe it works is Zuma, because people get wasted in after 10-15 minutes. Like for those of you listening outside Hong Kong, Zuma is a place that I don't know if they invented, but they rock the night brunch.
Well, it's not only in Hong Kong. They're a big group.
Yeah, no, but I mean the concept of night brunch. Like to just they take the concept and push it to the night, which actually makes a lot of sense. And they have free flow of Bœuf Clicquot normally or Ruinart, and I think you can do not sake. Sake, you can do sake. So you do champagne sake. After 20 minutes, everyone is just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but of course, but it's like
that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice, but not all the places are like that. And so
that's cool. I don't have a good segue to enter into a topic that Filippo and I wanted to talk to you about.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of curiosity. I think he shared, which is AI, artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And how it influences, especially creative endeavors.
Yes.
You DJ and you design, among probably many other things, and both can be impacted by this.
Yeah.
In the moment, in the now, do you already feel an impact? Are you using it?
No, I think that at the moment, I know like we are in a moment when in the US all the writers are on strike, right? I think the big impact for the moment it's on their field with like Chat GPT and like this kind of stuff, and it hasn't reached the design or the music field yet. Maybe it will be one day, but at the moment it's like, because I don't know, like so I also like listen music on like Spotify or Apple Music, like normally when I'm walking around, taking the MTR, stuff like that. And the algorithm is like shit. Because when I'm like, oh, I really like this track, I want to find more tracks like this. So I go on the radio.
Yes.
It's just fucking showing me tracks that I already know, that I already listened to. I want to listen to new tracks like that. Or maybe there's like a track from an artist that I really like, but it's very different from what they normally do. And I want to hear the tracks that are more like this track that I really like. But instead it's show me the track of this artist that are their usual stuff that I don't really like. So I think the algorithm is music is still like not that good. It's not very interesting for me now. It's like very good at playing like, okay, something similar to what you're listening. But for the moment, it's not that smart.
I have to agree, but I believe it's not only with music. I feel it mostly with YouTube. I get bored very easily. I mean, I'm curious, so let's say sometimes I go into temporary rabbit holes. It can be...
Yeah, me too. But that's different because, it's good at showing you what you want to see.
Yes, but then after a while, you get really, really tired about that. Like, for example, I don't know, you can like...
that's why it's called
pickup tracks, or let's say pickup tracks, or maybe you watch one day one video of sneakers, okay? That is something that I don't understand, but it's a thing nowadays. And then
What did you say?
sneakers,
Ah,
like shoes. And then for like a couple of weeks, you really learn about the world of sneakers, and you're curious, and it's giving you satisfaction. The third week, that the satisfaction decreases, and the fourth week, I really hate sneakers.
Yeah.
And that can happen pretty much with everything. And I get what your point with music. So you're saying the quality is still not there. They cannot substitute you.
No, I don't think so. No, they can't substitute us yet because they can't do the digging properly. And they can do a playlist, of course, of like a certain like genre of music and shit like that. But no, they can't bring like the human quality of selectors, I think, into this. Yeah, and also because like what the really good people bring out, like the really good DJs, the really good selectors. It's not there. It's not on Spotify anyway. Like that kind of music.
I'm not very informed about the strike of screenplay writers in the film industry. So you're saying that it has to do with AI and things like this?
Yeah, like ChatGPT, that kind of
ChatGPT.
stuff.
But ChatGPT sucks. At best, I use ChatGPT. Do you do it? Do you use it every day? No, but let's say I do it. But in my opinion, ChatGPT is like
No, but I think they see it coming. Maybe like
so they're like trying to, let's say, put the Band-Aid before the wound.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But when it comes to present utility, in my opinion, ChatGPT is like a junior that sometimes falls asleep and doesn't really hear what you're trying to tell him, because I use it as, let's say, as a first super rough draft, very edgy, that then I have to work on.
Yeah.
I use it even, for example, for weekly
Well, but
dinner menus.
the strike is not only about that. It's also about better pay and like better royalties from the show. So it's not only about the fact that AI. I think.
No, I imagine, but I think there is a lot of hype, and maybe with AI, it's everyone is trying to, let's say, act as if the future had arrived. But what the products that we have right now are, let's say, halfway there. To be generous. I play
Yeah,
around
but think about it. Imagine how it's gonna be in 10 years.
yeah, that's gonna be insane. That's gonna be
Yeah.
insane. I do have to admit that selfishly, I enjoy the fact that I'm getting older. So I have the feeling that this wave is gonna arrive a little bit later. I don't know what my daughter is gonna experience.
Yeah.
Maybe the thing will be actually just being in the mountain, just harvesting your own food, and
Yeah,
and reading 1970s books that
Yeah.
were not written by ChatGPT
Yeah.
and are not, let's say, do not self-cancel themselves. I'm very curious of what's gonna happen. So I have a thing. One of the things that I thought it was gonna be funny was, in order to close this podcast, was to try to ask Midjourney to create a picture of what's happening in this room right now. Okay. So if you agree, we're going to play. Let me open Discord.
Yeah.
So we have to find a good prompt to end this. Filippo, do you like the idea?
I love the idea.
All right, let's see. Did you know?
You sound like you were forced to say it.
Yeah, I am forced to say.
Is there a gun under the table?
Actually, it would be very funny if you said, "I think it's a shitty idea."
Yeah, that idea sucks.
So you gotta
Okay, so we are here. By the way, this is me having fun yesterday. I was actually let me just enlarge this. I was trying to find out how Iron
I haven't
Maiden's
tried it yet.
Ed as
How
a
does it
clown.
work?
It's the setup is not super straightforward, but it's not either super complicated. The problem is that I get that the look is always kind of the same.
cartoonish.
It's cartoonish but hyper realistic in a sense. I look. So a few days ago, I wanted to see what the last meeting of the week meant for Midjourney without any other prompt.
This is like the last meeting of the world.
Is the last
Before
meeting of
it's
the
gonna
world?
fucking
It's a little,
explode.
but you have either humanoid deer, you have aliens in several backgrounds, including one that looks like Mordor. But let's try to come up with one. So let's say pretty much the way
By
it
the way,
works.
have you seen the Mexican alien shit that happened this week?
What happened?
You know, like this guy presented at the parliament like 2 aliens bodies
Yes.
in the Mexican parliament,
Okay.
and he showed up with like these 2 alien bodies, like they're like this size, 60 cm. But they were saying that like someone already saw it in 2021, and they're made with like, because they say they're like 1,000 years old, they're like fossil. But they actually been like made with fossil of like kids and animals and put together to look like aliens.
Okay, we have here
Yeah,
Reuters.
that's it.
Okay, so we have here. Wait, hold on a second. Sorry about this. So, alien bodies presented in Mexican Congress, pan as stand. Yeah,
Yes.
man. I think people. It's
ET, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking ET.
It looks cool though. I mean, if there wasn't a sculpture with that shape, I would buy it and put it in the office.
Yeah.
100%.
He never made it.
He never made. No, he never made it. Yeah, he never lasted. So okay, so let's say Midjourney works within Discord. You download the bot.
Mm-hmm.
You pay a little bit of money for it.
I'm on Midjourney, but I haven't tried that yet.
And then you just write.
You're right, but don't you write it through ChatGPT actually?
No.
But
No,
then
no.
I was saying that, like, you know, all the guys who do like, you know, like the Harry Potter, Balenciaga shit, like, you know, on YouTube there was all these like fake Balenciaga show with like Harry Potter Balenciaga, Lord of the Rings Balenciaga. So it was like these images made from Midjourney,
Yes.
and it's like a Balenciaga shooting, but made with like Harry Potter characters, or with like Lord of the Ring characters, or like Game of Thrones characters. And I went to see like a tutorial to see how they do this video, and they were actually explaining that it's better if you write the prompt with ChatGPT and then you put it after in Midjourney.
So yes, that makes sense. So ChatGPT. So there are a series of parameters that are actually not quite straightforward. So you need to study them and practice them. And when it comes to practice and learning, artificial intelligence is much faster. So you go to ChatGPT, you tell him in your words what you want to say, and then ChatGPT makes a paragraph. But that, by the way, is not super accurate. You need to play with it a couple of times.
No, but this is like a paragraph from Midjourney.
From from ChatGPT, then you copy and paste, you put it in Midjourney, and then some more nicer things happen.
Okay.
In our case, let's try to describe this moment. So let's say 3 guys
One
with
cup.
beard having a chat on a podcast,
In Hong Kong.
drinking mezcal in Hong Kong. We're gonna put surrealistic Dali style. Do you agree? Let's see
Yeah.
all right. So now you click in, and then it normally takes like about a minute. Sometimes a bit. It's a bit faster. Yeah. And let's see. And
Oh.
you can. So it's actually now creating it.
Oh yeah. You can't see shit.
No, it's iterating, and it tells you the percentage: 15%, 31%. Exactly.
So you never used this one?
No, I haven't used it yet, but I was planning to.
All right. All right. Wow. So hold on a second. I think. So.
Well, there's a lot more part.
There's
There
a
is
lot of.
So okay. But see, this is what I say. It's not really quite there. So we said 3 guys. Here there are only 2. Drinking mezcal in champagne glasses. Yeah, I think the only Hong Kong thing is the lanterns. Then hold on. What's going on here?
I think he got the wrong ethnicity.
Yeah.
But he didn't specify, so they should have supposed that we are Asian because we are in Hong Kong.
No, but this white is
Tech bros.
This is a bit better though.
a bit better.
But there's nothing
No,
about
this
the
is
podcast.
this is the best. This
Yeah.
is the
There's
best.
no microphone or anything. It's
No,
like
there is no
three guys
microphone.
sitting at a bar. And
Here,
having-
here, no,
oh,
but-
here, yeah.
But there is only two. So pretty much what this shows you is that the AI does whatever the hell they want.
But because we are not famous, because if we were famous, then it would show us.
No,
No?
doesn't show you. I'm gonna say something very. I'm gonna show you something
But
very
then
funny.
with the Lord of the Rings stuff, they really put the characters.
No, they have to work. They have to work on that.
Yeah?
There is a way to get around that. So, for example, let me go down on. I'm gonna show you what I play with on this. For example, no. So, okay, here I was trying to do Dali. This is not Dali.
Yeah, but
This
it
is
looks
someone
like
that this is someone that has the hair like Dali, the mustache like Dali, but it's
yeah,
not
but
Dali.
there is a feel of him. still.
Yes, okay, I'm gonna show you something different. You know, I'm a great admirer of the humor of Silvio Berlusconi, no? And I want people
You
to
want to
listen to
create-
every word that I
Because
just
the real
said.
one died, you want to create an AI of
So,
Silvio
by the way, no.
Berlusconi.
Before I get to Silvio Berlusconi, what do you think about this? The theory. So this is theory of relativity rainbow, 16 chapel flood of milk,
Wow, you took acid before doing this?
and I don't take acid officially. Remember that this is gonna be on YouTube. So okay, so let me go back. There are, I mean,
Love the Hong Kong one.
Hong Kong, yes, by Pablo Picasso is fantastic. You can, and then I did by Juan Gris, which is one of my favorite painters.
Oh, nice. Nice,
Yeah, it's
cool.
super. I mean, this part is super cool. This part is extremely cool. Then hold on. I was trying to find that tattoo. Okay, so this is what I was playing with Silvio Berlusconi. Okay, so
Silvio
Silvio
Berlusconi
Berlusconi
at the Gay
portrait,
Pride.
Andy Warhol style, doing
Ah.
heavy metal fingers, and this is how Midjourney interprets my prompt. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's
The last one
inaccurate
doesn't
to
look
say.
like him at all.
no, it's not. So I think
Yeah.
he just probably because of legal issues, they just say, okay, I'm gonna do something similar to Silvio Berlusconi, but they don't quite do it. When you see something from Silvio Berlusconi, what they do is they do something similar to what I did here, and then they use
Yeah,
something.
that's probably a copyright issue because even when you watch those Balenciaga
But then they
videos,
do face swap,
yeah, they look a bit like the characters, but not exactly like them.
and they do face swap. For example, let's say I'm gonna show you. So here, this is a guy, a mountaineer, a selfie from the Everest. Okay, this
Mhm.
doesn't look like me, but then I put my face.
But so you can ask him to do face swap too?
There is an application that you
Oh,
can
it's a
install.
different one. It's not
It's a different one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the thing about Midjourney is actually the thing about.
So you posted on Instagram say you went to Mount Everest also?
No. I'm 36 years old. I cannot do that shit. But it's funny. I mean, I just wanted to. I did this during my vacation. I just wanted to know how it worked. It's fun for like 10 minutes. You play around a little bit. Instead of just looking at Instagram, you just play with a giant yellow duck floating in a white bathtub on the middle of the forest, and cool things happen. And maybe the worst thing is that you can have is that you print this out and you hang it in the wall and it's a nice artwork. But yeah, pretty much still Midjourney, they do whatever the hell they want, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. The same way that we do pretty much the hell we want in this podcast, and this is why I'm extremely happy that we did this together today. I'm gonna make a test to the guest because this is a perception test. How long do you think we've been talking?
Well, I can see it.
You can see it. Where you can see it?
No, there. 1 hour and 20 minutes.
That is true.
No, but first, I have to say, I noticed when I turn around after 45 minutes,
Yes.
and then I turn around again, it was like 1 hour and 30 minutes. I was like, wow, it's already been.
How do you?
so fast. It goes so
What
fast.
What do you think?
No, it goes so fast. It's
You
great.
enjoy?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
It's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
When are you gonna open the music room? When are you aiming for the opening?
I don't know. Well, I'm not involved with that, so I actually don't know. I'm sure the guys have a date there. Johnny knows, but hopefully, I mean, in this month, it's gonna happen in September, I think.
It's September. Okay,
Yes.
so
It should open. I don't know yet the precise date, but I'm sure they're gonna organize a big party for it.
I'll be there. Filippo
I'll
will
be
be there too. I'm gonna see you at Seafood
Invite
Meets. We crash the party. That's a given. Thank you, Guido, for coming. You are, I think, the first guest that hasn't suffered any technical problem. I feel very honored. You know, I like you very much.
Thanks for
And
having me.
if I cannot change my life and go to Wonderfruit, I hope that you make great things, continue making great things, okay?
Thank you.
So, and you come back here and we talk shit for another hour and a half, 2 hours.
Absolutely,
Whenever you
man.
want. This is
That's
your
fun.
house.
Yes.
Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you, Filippo.
Thank
Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Remember, get 10% discount on Why Not. That's whynot.com.hk. Code LASTMEET, LASTMEET, on checkout for a 10% discount. And we are going to have fun now that we can start. See you on Monday. Ciao, ciao.